to go, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. And we are recording, and welcome everyone, panelists and attendees alike. It is 7:02 p.m. Today is Tuesday, December 7th, 2021, and I'm calling to order a special meeting of the City Council of the City of Emeryville. And please bear with me while I read some introductory remarks for the last time. I would like to state for the record that this meeting is being conducted by teleconference pursuant to newly enacted Assembly Bill 361. The city was previously complying with Brown Act orders issued by the governor, which were aimed at containing the novel coronavirus and which expired on September 30th. This new bill gives local agencies the authority to continue to host virtual meetings until January 1st, 2024, as long as California is under a governor-declared state of emergency. In order to continue meetings subject to this exemption to the Brown Act, the City Council must make the following findings by majority vote no later than 30 days after it starts using the exemption, and every 30 days thereafter. The legislative body has reconsidered the circumstances of the state of emergency, and either one, the state of emergency continues to directly impact the members to meet safely in person, or two, state or local officials continue to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing. The City Council, successor agency, and MESA board will consider whether to make these findings we've already started doing this, and we're doing it every 30 days. And I think everyone is probably aware of the Omicron variant, which is making things even more complicated for our public health issues. City Hall is open to the public during regular business hours between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Please check our website, emeryville.org, for planning and building counter special hours or to make an appointment. The agenda states that the public may view the meeting that is being live streamed online and on ETV channel 27 and provide comment by submitting an online comment form, which will then be read into the record by staff. The comment form can be accessed by going to our main City of Emeryville website at emeryville.org and clicking on Council Agendas and Videos. Once there, you will see a link entitled Submit an Online Speaker Card. The public also has the option of participating in tonight's meeting via Zoom and may provide public comment during the meeting using the Raise Your Hand feature visible on your screen, or if you're calling in, press *9. The Zoom call-in information was provided on the posted agenda, as well as via e-notification and on social media. All right, and with that, I will ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Bowders.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Mm-hmm.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Here.
And Mayor Martinez.
Here. And with that, colleagues, do I have a motion and a second on approval of the agenda?
I move approval. Second the motion.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Donahue, a second from Member Bowders. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Bowders.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
And Mayor Martinez.
Aye. Colleagues, does anyone have any ex parte communications to report? No? Seeing none, now is the time for public comment. Anyone who wishes to make comments related to items not on the agenda or on the consent agenda should have submitted your online speaker card by now. 3 minutes will be allowed for the city clerk to read your comments into the record. If you are participating in tonight's meeting via Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature visible on your screen, or if you're calling in, press *9. At this time, I will ask the city clerk whether any comments have been received via online comment card or whether anyone has raised their hand to make audio comments.
I have no online comment cards. However, I do see one raised hand.
All right, the speaker will have 3 minutes.
Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So we, as everyone knows, we had an election. We had for the city council to replace Christian Patz's open seat, and we now have we're getting ready to acknowledge that one Courtney Welch won the race. However, we have really important questions that we need to ask her and she needs to respond to. Council-elect Welch has publicly stated 5 people live in her 2-bedroom BMR, affordable housing assisted government, City of Emeryville government assisted affordable housing unit, rental unit. 5 people. It's a 2-bedroom. That's not allowed, according to the City of Emeryville. And I've investigated and found out that's not allowed. But Council-elect Welch says that is the case at her unit. So that being, if that's true, that means that two of the adults, there's 3 adults living in the unit, so says the Council-elect Welch. If that's true, 2 of the adults were never income verified by the City of Emeryville because Council-elect Welch didn't tell the city that there's 5 people living there, because that would be a violation. She wouldn't be allowed. So then presumably she didn't inform the city that the 2 adults are living there, and so they were never income verified. So there could be wealthy people living in an assisted, government-assisted affordable unit, BMR unit, and we need to get to the bottom of this, because 1, it's wrong and illegal, but if it's true, but 2, more importantly than that, in my view, is that we have to be a city of accountability and transparency for the city council members. The 4 of you, to greater or lesser degree, have been accountable and transparent to greater or lesser degree, but I've never had a total breakdown and a total stonewalling of accountability and transparency. So I have not asked Council-elect Welch if this is what, why she's claiming this, but I'm going to once she becomes our city council member. And I expect the 4 of you to join me in expecting accountability and transparency among the Emeryville City Council members. What I'm afraid is she's going to, if that doesn't happen, she's going to drag the 4 of you down with her into a culture and a new paradigm of no accountability and no transparency at our local government, and that's just not acceptable. So I hope you join with me in expecting.
There's your time. Please mute the speaker. Thank you. Are there any other raised hands or comments submitted, Madam Clerk?
None at this time.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to our action items. We have action item 6.1. This is the resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville declaring the results of the City of Emeryville special election held on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, as to the election of 1 City Council member to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Christian R. Patz with a term ending 2024. Is there a staff presentation that goes along with this?
There's no presentation. However, within your agenda packet, there was the certificate from the Registrar of Voters certifying the result of the election and the canvass of the votes.
Very good. Colleagues, are there any clarifying questions for staff on what we are doing this evening? No? Seeing no clarifying questions, Madam Clerk, is there anyone who has submitted a speaker card for item 6.1?
No speaker cards at this time.
No speaker cards. And I will remind those joining us via Zoom, if you have comments on this item, use the raise hand feature on Zoom to raise your hand. If you're calling in, press *9 and that will raise your hand. And seeing no raised hands, we will close public comment and bring it back to my colleagues for discussion, or I'd be happy to entertain a motion on the resolution. Member Bowders.
Madam Chair, I would just like to congratulate the people of Emeryville for electing Courtney Welch to the City Council. I'd like to thank the candidates who put their names forward for doing so and submitting their backgrounds and experience to the voters. And with that, Madam Mayor, I would be happy to make a motion to approve and accept the results of the election and induct Courtney Welch to the City Council.
And is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
We thank you very much. We have a motion by Member Bowders and a second by Member Medina. I too will extend my congratulations to the voters of Emeryville for selecting someone who I think is a fine choice. And let's go ahead and have that vote.
Councilmember Bowders.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
And Mayor Martinez.
Aye. That passes unanimously. Now we're on to item 6.2. This is the installation of elected official, the administration of oath of office to newly elected city council member. So we need to promote Ms. Welch, now council member Welch, as soon as she takes the oath. She's council member.
Okay. Are you ready, council member?
I am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, and if you'd like to raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I state your name.
I, Courtney Welch,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter
upon which I'm about to enter
as a city council member for the city of Emeryville.
as a city council member for the city of Emeryville.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay. Congratulations. Member Welch, do you want to say a few words by way of introduction to yourself to your waiting public?
Yes, I'll keep it brief because I know we have a lot to get through. But I was just thinking earlier today, typically you are sworn in and take your oath in January, but it feels really appropriate to get sworn in during this time of celebration as we're celebrating so many holidays in our diverse area, and really thinking about the two major themes about giving thanks and gratitude and giving back to the community. And so with that, I just want to express my gratitude to my family, all of my friends, my great campaign team, all of our volunteers, the voters, my neighbors. Thank you for supporting my candidacy. Thank you for believing in me. I can now officially say, my fellow council members, thank you for your support. And I am just grateful and honored and humbled to serve alongside you as we serve our great city of Emeryville. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Now we will move on to item 6.3. This is the appointment of mayor and vice mayor for the city of Emeryville for one-year terms expiring November 2022. And colleagues, if you'll indulge me, I'd like to just say a few words and then we'll go to public comment and then we'll come back for this item. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. I just wanted to thank my colleagues and staff for the last year of mayorship. Zoom was not my forte in the beginning, and so I thank you for your patience as I got my sea legs, reading scripts and navigating our lengthy agendas online. And I just appreciate all of your support in that area. But now I feel like a Zoom professional. So if anyone wants to rely on me to read any of the scripts, feel free to tag me in and I will just take over that portion. Because it looks like with Omicron, we may be doing that for a while now, unfortunately. But I have enjoyed very much leading these meetings, but I am, in a sense, I'm happy to pass the baton and let someone else drive while I sit in the back seat and can think more about each item as we're going, I think. And with that, I would like to ask the clerk if there's any public comment that has been submitted electronically. And I'll remind the public to please use the raise hand feature on Zoom or press *9 to raise your hand if you are calling in.
I have no online speaker cards, but I do see one raised hand.
All right, speaker will have 3 minutes.
Go ahead, you have 3 minutes.
Just wondering why the public was not allowed to comment on item 6.2. 6.1, we were allowed to comment. Now 6.3, we're being allowed to comment, but we were not allowed to comment on 6.2. I'd like to know why. But before I give you back the floor so you can give an explanation to that, if you would, Brown Act provides that you may, in fact, answer that question. I would like to point out that we're losing Diane Martinez as mayor. We're going to get a new mayor, but during Mayor Martinez's tenure, there was a low water mark that I wanted to bring up. And that was when the final vote to cut the public street trees at the Sherwin-Williams site. And Mayor Martinez announced to everybody and the 5 council members that she had already made up her mind how she was going to vote before the council deliberated. And that's, I guess we could I respect her candor and being honest, but it's just unseemly for that to happen. You should have an open mind, the 5 of you, and you should listen to what your colleagues say with an open mind and not make up your mind before the meeting. And so this is, I guess, a lesson to the 4 council members, especially including the new council member. Don't make up your mind ahead of time. Have an open mind. And to be available to be persuaded by your colleagues. When I brought this up, Mayor Martinez was, sort of taken aback, and she was angry that I'd said it. And then she doubled down and she told us that she had 18 months to consider the item, and she it was not reckless or rash to say that she had already made up her mind. She'd had 18 months, but all that was a doubling down. And so I just, to the 4 council members, just don't do that. Have an open mind. Let your colleagues be able to persuade you, or do their best to persuade you, and just don't come to meetings with a closed mind like that. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment on this item, Sherry?
Not at this time, thank you.
All right, at this point, I will apologize if I missed a public comment for item 6.2, and I will invite the public who hasn't spoken yet to go ahead and raise their hands, and you do that with the raise hand function in Zoom, or if you're calling in, press *9. So we're going ahead and curing that missed public comment opportunity for item 6.2 for folks who haven't spoken. And Mr. Donahue, as you have spoken already, as you're raising your hand, I will grant you 1 minute at this time.
1 moment while I reset. All right, go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I was not given 3 minutes to speak on item 6.2. Now I'm being given 1 minute. But so in the spirit of that, I'll just ask, why weren't we given a chance? Was it just an oversight? Was it just a simple mistake? Or was there some other, something else going on? I would just like an explanation why we weren't given a chance to comment. That's it. Take my answer off on mute.
All right, that's the end of comments. And yes, it was an oversight. I'll also take a brief moment and take my privilege as chair to respond briefly to the speaker's comments, and I will just say that he is mischaracterizing what I said and end it there. So now we are on to back to the item at hand, which is 6.3. This is appointment of mayor and vice mayor of the city of Emeryville. And I will open up the floor for discussion at this point. Member Medina.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'd like to take a moment to thank Mayor Martinez for her leadership during this difficult year. It probably was not the most fun year to be mayor, so I'm glad you caught a couple of good events in this weekend to close us out with. I think as a city, we've been creative in response to the crisis thus far. Our staff has done a tremendous job in rising to the occasion and still providing community services and events to enliven and enrich our community in addition to our city services. Moving forward, I've been thinking about what we need to address the structural issues with our city's finances in order to recover. We did pass a one-year budget in the past year, which is unusual for us, but just because we were responding to the pandemic, and now we need to pass another one in 2022. We'll likely also need revenue-generating ballot measures during a midterm year and a financial crisis, and these are not fun tasks. Our ability to come up with a clear path forward for our city to remain fiscally solvent and deliver a high level of services to our community is imperative. And I think our city will be best served and stewarded by a member of council who has spent years diving into those details. Councilmember Batters has worked diligently as chair of our Budget and Governance Committee and as liaison to our Budget Advisory Committee to provide informed and thoughtful budget policy proposals to this council over the past 5 years. I believe he is uniquely qualified to help lead us through this very difficult budgetary process. And so with that, I will nominate John Batters for mayor.
Colleagues, is there any discussion on this, or Vice Mayor Donahue?
Well, I'd like to say that I'm available and willing to be mayor if there's a council majority willing to elect me.
Very good. Colleagues, any other discussion? I will also entertain a second or a substitute motion. Okay, I do this with a heavy heart, but I will second Member Medina's motion with all gratitude due to Vice Mayor Donahue. Scott, I think you know, for me, it hasn't been easy to run these meetings. There are a couple of things that hang in the balance this year that, this upcoming year, that Member Medina has mentioned, that I think the health of the city really relies on the success of certain things happening around ballot measures, around generating revenue for the city in general. And I think that Mayor Bowders' leadership could help with that endeavor. Again, the floor is still open for discussion. Members who haven't had a chance to speak, you're welcome to speak. And if you don't wish to, then we can move on to a vote. Sherry, go ahead and call the roll, please.
Donahue?
Yes.
Martinez?
Aye.
Welch?
Aye.
Medina?
Aye.
And Bowders?
As Member Donahue has voted aye, I will vote aye.
All right, so that was a unanimous vote, although not easy for anyone, I don't think. We still need to take care of the appointment of vice mayor. Do I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to appoint Councilmember Medina as vice mayor.
Do I have a second, or is there any further discussion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Member Welch and a second by Member Bowders. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue,
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez,
Aye.
Councilmember Welch,
Aye.
Member Medina,
Aye.
and Mayor Bowders.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That brings us to item 6.4. This is the administration of oath to newly appointed mayor and vice mayor. Colleagues, just so I don't forget, I'm going to ask for public comment now instead of later when it is too late. So Sherry, please let me know if anyone has submitted an electronic comment for item 6.4 or whether anyone has raised their hand in Zoom, and you would do so by using the raise hand function in Zoom, or you would press *9.
There are no comment cards, but there is one raised hand. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why the public wasn't given an opportunity to comment on item 6.3. And I will take my answer and while muted. Why weren't we able to weigh in on that?
I'll answer that. You were. That's when you noted that you didn't have an opportunity to comment on 6.2.
There is one more raised hand. Go ahead, Mr. Bukowski.
Yeah, hi. I just want to make a point that at one point we had it set up to where the mayor would become the vice mayor. And the reason for that is because the mayor is most familiar with the duties of the mayor, and it isn't so far of a drop as it is to go from mayor to council member. So each year, the former mayor became the vice mayor, and that's how we did it for a very long time until Jennifer West decided to change it. So I'm just recommending that that might be something the council may want to consider for the future. Thank you.
That conclude public comment, Madam Clerk?
There's another raised hand, but it's somebody who's already spoken.
That person has already spoken. Thank you. So in answer to the last public commenter, I will say that that is an informal practice, but the year that I first became mayor in 2016, that was different as well. So it is it is within the purview of the council to select our mayor every year. And that's how it is in policy. So that will bring us to the actual administration of the oaths of office by our city clerk.
I had planned to do these separately, and assuming you both want to take your oath separately, I will proceed in that way. The mayor first. Okay, I state your name.
I, John Joseph Bowders,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter
upon which I am about to enter
as the mayor of the city of Emeryville.
as the mayor of the city of Emeryville.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. And now for the Vice Mayor, if you'd like to raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I state your name.
I, Ali Medina,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend, pardon me,
that I will support and defend beep beep beep
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter
on which I'm about to enter
as the Vice Mayor of the City of Emeryville.
as the Vice Mayor of the City of Emeryville.
Thank you and congratulations.
Congratulations to both of you. And at this time, the time is 7:33 and this meeting is adjourned. So Mayor Bowders, I will leave it to you to call to order the next meeting, which is the Management of Emeryville Services Authority.
Thank you, Councilmember Martinez, and for your shepherding of this agency and body over the past year. And thank you to our staff. Sherry, when you and Second Sight are ready, please just let me know.
Okay, we are ready. Thank you.
Okay, and for this meeting or the other meeting, Sherry, do you need me to do the entire preamble and introduction?
I would do it now, and then you won't have to do it again, because we'll go straight through.
Okay, great. So good evening, everybody. The time is 7:34 p.m. and I'm calling to order this meeting of the Management of Emeryville Services Authority for the City of Emeryville. Pursuant to California Assembly Bill 361, a local legislative body is authorized to hold public meetings remotely and to make those meetings accessible to all members of the public seeking to observe and to address the local legislative body by remote means only via a technology solution. As such, the city will provide various options for the public to participate in the conduct of this meeting, as indicated in detail below of this cover sheet. I'm reading the agenda packet, Sherry, because I don't have the separate page. But let me go off of what I know, which is suffice it to say that the City of Emeryville is complying with Assembly Bill 361, and that in doing so, every 30 days, we must make legislative findings that allow ourselves to continue with a remote meeting, provided that there's a governor's executive order in place allowing for the state of emergency to continue, and that while we conduct the meeting remotely, that members of the public who wish to participate in that meeting may submit public comment cards to the city clerk in advance of this meeting. They may use the raise hand feature on Zoom, or they may press *9 if they're joining us by telephone, and they'll be called on at the appropriate time to submit public comment. We have made findings pursuant to Assembly Bill 361. That will be on the agenda again this evening at the regular city council meeting, and we will continue to do that going into the future as necessary to provide for the safety and health and welfare of the public. I apologize to the clerk that I was not prepared to administer this section of the meeting tonight, but I will not have that mistake in the future. So with that, Madam Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Here.
Councilmember Martinez?
Here.
Councilmember Welch?
Here.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Here.
And Mayor Bowders?
Here. Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the final agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
On a motion by Martinez with a second from Medina to approve this agenda, please call the roll.
Member Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders?
Aye. Ex parte communications. Members, are there any ex parte communications to report? Seeing none, we move to agenda item 5, which is public comment for the consent agenda or items not on this agenda. Any members of the public who wish to speak will be given 3 minutes to do so. At this time, Madam Clerk, have you received any electronic submissions?
No, we have not.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to allow Brian Donahue as member of the public to speak.
Go ahead, you have 3 minutes.
For the record, at the former meeting, item 6.2 was the public was not invited to speak at the appropriate time, so that's a Brown Act violation. We were allowed to speak later, too late, frankly, but that's still a Brown Act violation. Item 6.3, the public was never allowed to speak. That's another Brown Act violation. That's true. I was allowed to speak, but the public was not. Those are both Brown Act violations. I hope Mayor Bowders will do a better job running the meetings. And then I wanted to also say, former Mayor Martinez made a claim that I had misrepresented her when I talked about how she had announced that she had made up her mind at a meeting about the Sherwin-Williams trees. I made up her mind about how she was going to vote before her colleagues were able to weigh in on it. And she said, I mischaracterized. That's a mischaracterization, she said. So that the challenge now is to me to quote her verbatim. And that's what I'm going to do at a future meeting. I'm going to go back, watch the tape again, and write it down, transcribe it, and then come back to a future meeting and quote verbatim what Councilwoman Martinez had said at that meeting. And, the facts are the facts. So we're not going to be doing any doubling down or any, obscuring of facts. And so that's my challenge. So I appreciate I take on the challenge issued tonight by Councilwoman Martinez. And so I'll be coming back at a future meeting with that. Thank you very much.
Public comment is now closed, and as a point of privilege, I will just briefly respond to the public comment to clarify the record. If you go back and watch the tape from the last meeting, public comment was called for on item 6.1. It was not called for on 6.2. During 6.3, it was called for, and you used your public comment time to actually notice that the mayor had skipped 6.2. She cured the defect in the meeting by allowing comment for 1 minute for people who wish to speak on 6.2. You then utilized that additional minute. She answered your question during that time, and then she called for comment during 6.4. Hopefully that is putting that item to rest. And if you have additional concerns with that, you may go back and check the record. We're going to move to the public's business, which is the consent calendar, item 6. Are there any items that need questions or clarification? If not, please, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Member Martinez and a second from Member Medina to approve this consent calendar. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders?
Aye, the consent calendar is approved. There are no action items. The time is 7:39. I'm adjourning this meeting. The time is 7:39, and I would like to call to order the City of Emeryville, a successor agency to the Emeryville Redevelopment Agency. Please note that all the members are still present, and I will now take a motion to approve the final agenda.
I move approval.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion from Member Donahue and a second from Member Welch to approve this agenda. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders?
Aye, thank you. The agenda is approved. Ex parte communications. Any members wish to report anything? Seeing none, this will be now the time for public comment for the consent agenda or items not on this agenda. Please note for this meeting, I will allow 1 minute for public comment. Have we received any written comments, Madam Clerk?
We have not.
Okay, and seeing no hands raised, we'll move to the consent calendar. Members, is there a motion?
I'll move the consent calendar.
I will second.
There's a motion by Member Martinez and a second by Member Medina to approve this consent calendar. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders?
Aye, thank you. The consent calendar has been approved. Item 7.1 is a resolution of the City Council as the successor agency approving the calendar for meetings between February of 2022 and January of 2023. Members, please note that this calendar will also appear in our regular meeting as item 12.1. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns about the proposed calendar for the next calendar year? Is there any public comment for the calendar? 1 minute will be allowed if there's comment on this calendar. Seeing no public comment on the calendar, is there a motion?
I move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion by Member Donahue and a second by Vice Mayor Medina to approve the consent calendar in item 7.1. Please call, I'm sorry, the regular calendar in item 7.1. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welsh?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye, the calendar is approved. Madam Clerk, the time is 7:42. I'm adjourning this meeting. And at 7:42, Madam Clerk, I'm calling to order the City of Emeryville's regular City Council meeting. Please note that all members are still present. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move approval to the agenda.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Member Donahue and a second by Vice Mayor Medina to approve this agenda. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye, the agenda has been approved. There are no special orders of this day. So item 5 is announcements of committee and commission vacancies. Madam Clerk.
Just briefly, unfortunately, we had no applicants for any of our unexpected vacancies. We originally had scheduled for you to make those appointments at your next meeting on December 21st. However, having no applicants, we are going to, after the first of the year, after the holidays, we're going to open up a brand new recruitment and hopefully get some interest in those remaining vacancies at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 6 is council member special announcements or reports of meetings in attendance. Are there any members who wish to report out from a meeting they attended representing the city? Member Donahue.
I didn't actually attend the meeting, but I've read what happened at the region-wide meeting that included the League of Cities. And the region-wide meeting was about a Bay Conservation Development Commission. I would call it a strategy, a regional strategy for a rising bay, and it's called Bay Adapt. And they have asked us as electeds and asked us as a city to sign on to approve the Bay Adapt strategy that will take into account various ways that we could prepare for sea level rising in the future. And they've been working on this for a number of years, and so has other organizations like ABAG have been working with their program with BCDC also. And so this is a developed field. There's a lot of information, and I think it's worth having a look at all of this.
Thank you for reporting that, and I'll ask the city manager to follow up with you directly on additional information we could receive in the future. Other members who wish to report on a meeting attended? Member Martinez.
It's not a meeting attended. It's actually a memorial service will be held tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's a community celebration of the life of Supervisor Wilma Chan and her legacy. It is open to the public. However, RSVP is required. So folks go to eventbrite.com, and it's eventbrite.com. And they search Wilma Chan. It's the first event that comes up. It's at the Oakland Museum of California Garden tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Thank you for sharing that with the community. Are there any other members of council who wish to report on a meeting in attendance? Okay, seeing none, we will move to the city manager's report. Madam City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge some really amazing work of our staff. This past week, many celebrations. On Friday evening, as you know, since you were all there, we had a terrific celebration of the opening of the bridge, and I just want to thank and acknowledge Pedro Jimenez, the Community Services Director, and his incredible team, Rebecca Semeno, Kristen Gray, Kim Burrows, and all of the Community Services folks who really made that such an excellent event. And then on Sunday and also earlier in the week were two public art celebrations. On Sunday was the opening of the mural, and I want to thank and acknowledge Amber Evans in the Economic Development and Housing Division, who did such an excellent job organizing those. It's been a long time since staff has had the privilege of celebrating with the community, and we just really want to thank everybody for all the work they did. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're very welcome, and thank you for raising those points into our community services staff and to Amber and the folks who do the work around our public art. Fantastic events. It felt really great to be out there. I also want to recognize and thank Member Martinez in her capacity as mayor for shepherding and properly channeling all the child power that we needed to light the tree. I'm going to borrow that, I think, next time around. That was very clever. And for being such a great leader to the bridge and over the bridge and keeping us all on time. You did a fantastic job. So those were well-attended events, and a lot of community members I spoke with at those events really appreciated the opportunity to be back together in community with each other. So kudos to the staff. Okay, are there any ex parte communications for tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing none. At this time, this is public comment. Members of the public who wish to comment for an item that's not on tonight's agenda or on the consent agenda will be afforded 3 minutes tonight to do so. If you're joining us by Zoom, you may use the raise hand feature. If you're joining us by telephone, you may press *9, and I'll call on you, and the clerk will allow you for 3 minutes on our clock. Madam Clerk, did we receive any written public comments in advance of this meeting for this item?
No, I have no online speaker cards.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain live public comment, and I will first recognize Brian Donahue.
Go ahead, you have 3 minutes.
Oh, yes, thank you. So now that we can call, we can say the name Council Member Welsh, I would like to announce that Council Member Welsh told people of Emeryville that there are 5 people living in her 2-bedroom BMR, government assisted low income below market rate housing unit, rental unit. Since there are not allowed to be 5 people in a 2-bedroom BMR unit in Emeryville, that's wrong. That shouldn't happen. But the bigger concern is that the 2 adults besides Councilmember Welsh that reside in the unit, according to her, they were never income verified, according to the city. So they have to be income verified because otherwise there's the specter of wealthy people residing in an affordable housing unit that we subsidize, and that's unacceptable. So the public has questions about this. We want to know. And so it's incumbent on Councilmember Welsh to explain to the people. And we need to have transparency and accountability from the new council member. And what is very disturbing is the idea that perhaps she will balk, and we won't have accountability and transparency on this, and then that could infect the whole council, the whole local government. We are a city that the government is accountable and is transparent. And as a new council member, I implore Council Member Welsh to answer the people's questions. These are legitimate and reasonable questions, and there's the specter of untoward things happening with regard to your government assisted housing unit, and so we want to know. So you can either take this opportunity now, or maybe you can tell us when you will be willing to answer questions about this so that people can know and so we can have accountability and transparency at Emeryville City Hall. Thank you very much.
Any other members of the public who wish to comment at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to our consent calendar. Our consent calendar is items 10.1 through 10.7. Are there any members who wish to pull any items or comment on them before we take a motion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion on the consent calendar.
I'll move consent.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by... Okay, there's a motion first by Vice Mayor Medina, and it was seconded first by Member Martinez. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye. The motion is approved. The consent calendar has been approved. Item 11, there are no public hearings tonight. Item 12.1 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville adopting the City Council's regular meeting calendar for February 2022 through January 2023. Members, this was in conjunction with our redevelopment successor agency agenda item 7.1. There is no staff presentation on the calendar. It is attached to the report. It matches with all the prior year calendars that we've observed. So at this time, I'll entertain public comment for the consent calendar. And for this item, I'm only going to allow 1 minute. It's a consent calendar that's been on multiple agendas. Sherry, did we receive any public comment?
No, we did not.
Okay, and seeing no hands raised, I will close public comment and I will entertain a motion on the consent, or I'm sorry, on the calendar for next year.
I move the calendar for next year.
Second.
There's a motion by Member Donahue and a second by Vice Mayor Medina to approve this calendar. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye. The calendar for next year has been approved. Item 12.2 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville appointing City Council representatives to various county, regional, and statewide boards, commissions, and committees for calendar year 2022. Members, in the packet, there is attachment A, which contains the current list of the roster for this current calendar year. And then Exhibit A has been attached by the clerk, which provides for the blank one for us to fill in as we go. Some appointments, as you'll note, are in 2 and 4 year assignments. And so some of those will not be up today. And when we reach those, I'll check with the clerk as to which are up and which are not. But what I'd like to propose, as we've done in prior years, is we have a new member. And I would like to ensure that we afford our new colleague the opportunity to be involved in some things that she would really like to. I know she campaigned on some really juicy items, and so we want to make sure we get her a couple of sweet spots out here representing the city. And I also want to check with my colleagues as we go down this list to see if there are items that you're currently serving on, which either for scheduling purposes or other interests you would like to offer up as something to give up or change as we go. So we're starting here at the top is the Alameda County Healthy Homes Board. I've been the member, and the city manager under the JPA agreement is the alternate. I would like to continue in that space. I was just elected the chair of the board. But if there are other members who are interested in that, I would obviously entertain having a discussion with anybody who would like to talk to me about it. Okay, if not, Madam Clerk, if you would please, as you do your magic behind the scenes, just keep a kind of a list here as we go. So we're going to retain the current appointment to the Healthy Homes Board, moving to the Alameda County Mayor's Conference. So as practice has been, the member should become myself, and the alternate should become the Vice Mayor, Member Medina, for the Alameda County Mayor's Conference.
Mr. Mayor, if I just may interrupt for a moment.
Okay.
Did we do public comment on this item? I'm sorry.
No, that's an appropriate interruption. Thank you, Andrea. Let's pause and do that just to make sure there's no harm in that, right? So we'll assume I did not call public comment, and I apologize to the public if I got ahead of myself because there's no staff report and I was going over the list. So Madam Clerk, did we receive any written public comments for this item?
No written comments, no.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. At this time, I'll entertain the live public comment, and I'd like to recognize Member Donahue, please. I'm sorry, Brian Donahue, please.
And I'm sorry, did you say 1 minute for these comments or 3?
For this section, it'll be 3 minutes because this is substantive.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Not a good way to start your mayorship. And you're an attorney, Mr. Bowders. I mean, can you please strive to do a better job making sure the public comment happens at every time where it's appropriate, please, in the future? Thank you. So now, speaking to this item. Since there are credible charges against Council Member Welsh, I don't think it's appropriate that you appoint her at this time to any of these positions you're talking about. I think you should give the new council member a chance to explain herself, and so the people of Emeryville can be assured that there's nothing untoward or unethical that's happened, because it certainly looks like there is. So I think you should give her a chance to explain and have the public be assured of that before you move forward with putting her on commissions and boards. You can leave blank spaces for future, to plug her in the future. I would think that would be appropriate.
but to move ahead now, I think is ill-advised, and I think it's actually cynical, frankly. And I don't, I think you should take this seriously. The people have a right to know that we have a right for accountability and transparency, and I don't think you should just cynically move forward like this. And instead, you should entertain the idea that we should be able to have these questions answered. And then as I go, I will just say, please, Mr. Bowders, Mayor Bowders, please strive to do better on the public comments in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, is there any other public comment? Seeing none, I will just apologize to the public for being out of step with my calling of the public comment, and I will strive to do better as your mayor to ensure that public comment is called in a timely and reasonable fashion so that all members of the public may provide their input to us prior to us deliberating and voting on any item. Now I'd like to recognize Member Welch.
I just wanted to state for the record that any claims against me or any member of my family will be addressed through the appropriate channels and not here at public comment. Thank you, Mayor Bowders, that's all.
Thank you, Member Welch. Okay, so moving on now to the work we had begun out of sequence we've reached the first two and we're at the third item on the list, which is the Alameda County Source Reduction and Recycling Board. Member Martinez is our appointee and there is not an alternate for this position. Member Martinez, are you comfortable and willing to continue serving on this board?
Yes, this serves hand in hand with the stop waste representation, which is noted as the AC Waste Management Authority, a couple of lines below. So yes, I'm more than happy to keep this representation.
Okay, thank you for that. Does anybody else have any, if we go down a list rather than stopping at each of these, if you would like to ask or comment, just use the raise hand feature so I can recognize you if you're looking to say something on an item, okay? Otherwise, I'm gonna just check with the appointees as we go about their continuing interest in serving. So next we have the AC Transit Emeryville Interagency Liaison Committee, and that has been Member Medina and I and Member Medina are both continue to be willing to serve in that capacity. Okay, seeing no hands, that will remain unchanged. The AC Alameda County Transportation Commission, I currently serve as the vice chair of the commission and Member Medina has been my alternate. I continue to wish to serve in that capacity. Is there any interest there? Okay, that will remain in the capacity it is. AC Waste Management Authority, Stop Waste. Member Martinez has been serving in that capacity and Member Medina remains the alternate. And everybody is okay with keeping that the way it has been going, which has been great. Next one is the Association of Bay Area Governments and Member Medina is there. I currently serve as the alternate, but I'm willing to give this alternate position up to someone else who would like the opportunity. Member Welch, you're recognized.
I would like to take over that position
from me. Okay, great. So we're gonna change the alternate for ABAG to Member Welch for calendar year 2022. Let's see, next on the list is the East Bay Bike Share Accessibility TAC, and it
doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, so could we actually remove that from the roster for the future? Thank you. So we'll remove that, and we'll come next to the East Bay Community Energy JPA Board, and currently this is represented by Member Martinez, and the alternate is Member Donahue. Do both of you wish to remain in that capacity? Thumbs
yes,
up.
I'm currently the chair for what might be a 2-year stint. So I would like to remain in my position. Thank you.
Great, and we would like to support your leadership in doing that. So we will leave that unchanged. The next is the East Bay Sports Field Recreation JPA, our favorite Gilman. Allie Medina will receive a special award whenever she retires from council for her service on this board. And her alternate is Councilmember Martinez. I just want to check if that is still your pleasure, Vice Mayor, to serve on this board.
Unless our new council member really has a deep passion for listening to 2-hour-long discussions about turf and then scowling every time we're asked for more money, which is the service I provide this community.
I don't see her raising her hand, which means she knows a thing or two about this item.
I will continue to be the backup player for the league here.
Okay, and Member Martinez, do you wish to remain the alternate? Is that fine with you?
That's fine.
She does read the agendas actually as an alternate because who wouldn't come to Comic Sans?
Okay, so the East Bay, the Gilman JPA will remain unchanged. Okay, the next is the ECCL Governance Committee. All members from this board will serve on the ECCL Governance Committee next year. The Emeryville Oakland JPA, so there are 4 of us who serve as members and Member Medina is the alternate. Member Welch, is it okay with everybody if we just supplant Member Welch's name where Member Pat's was as a member of the JPA if we need to deal with that? Okay, I see yeses. So we will make Member Welch the fourth member from the city of Emeryville to the JPA. Next is the two League of Cities. We have the East Bay Division and the California League of Cities. And I was reappointed by the East Bay League president to represent the East Bay on the Transportation Committee. And the conflict I've had longstanding with attending the conference every year, Member Martinez has been going for me because I've always had a conflict. I no longer have that conflict. I'm no longer, I retired from umpiring softball this fall. So I just wanted to put out there, are there members here who have strong interest in serving? I'm happy to fit in where I'm most appropriate. I will just note that I'm required as a East Bay Division appointee to a committee to appear at the East Bay Division meetings already. So if there's somebody who would like to continue or to attend the East Bay League, I don't need to compete for that. I would probably be the appropriate person to go to the conference, but also I'm happy to let someone else do that if somebody feels strongly about attending Cal Cities.
I am, as a working parent who has an expanded responsibilities in my daytime job, would love to give someone that once a month dinner with our colleagues at East Bay Division.
I'm happy to just do it for the 1 year since I'm already doing it. If that's fine with folks, I'm happy to do it. Long term, I don't love doing it, but I will be happy to do my time for a year. So
yeah, you're gonna be there anyway.
Yeah, I do have to go. Member Donahue, would you like to remain the alternate to the East Bay Division of the League? You're on mute, Member Donahue. Yes, thumbs up. Okay, so for the East Bay League of Cities, we'll make the member will be myself and the alternate will be Member Donahue. And then for the California League of Cities, the conference, Diane, do you wish to remain the alternate? Member Welch.
I was going to offer to Council Member Martinez, if she did not want to serve as the alternate any longer, I would be happy to take that over.
It is a fun conference, so I'd be glad to extend. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. That I would be glad to extend that to you. And just so you know, Councilmember Welch, if you're interested in attending the East Bay Division meetings, they're currently on Zoom. And any of us can attend. When they do go back to in person, you just need to let our city staff know if you plan to attend, because they do need to pre-register you and make sure your dinner gets paid for. So if you expect to eat when you go to the in-person meetings, just make sure that you let our staff know well in advance so they can RSVP on your behalf.
Thank you.
Okay, so for the League of California Cities, Madam Clerk, the member will be myself and the alternate will be Courtney Welch. And okay, moving down the list now to our 2-year terms, we have, let's see, the AC Transportation Commission Paratransit Advisory. John Suter was appointed. He will be the appointee. He's a resident through the end of next year. Betsy Cooley and Bobby Lee represent us on the ETMA, and their term is up for renewal in the spring. And then on to our 4-year terms. So we have the Fire Advisory Commission, the Mosquito Abatement District, and the Housing Authority. So for the AC Fire Advisory Commission, it is Member Martinez and the alternate is Vice Mayor Medina. Do you both wish to continue on that agency's advisory board?
I'd like to continue, but if someone has pardon my pun, a burning interest, I would open that up, but I am happy to serve on this commission.
Okay, does anybody else have an interest in serving on the Fire Advisory Commission? Okay, we are going to keep that with Member Martinez and Vice Mayor Medina. Next, I want to come back to the Abatement District, and let's do the Housing Authority next. So currently Member Donahue is representing us at the Housing Authority, and he did a stellar job pitching in for us when Member Pat's left. I know, see Member Welch's hand is raised. So I want to, before I call on you, I'd like to just ask Member Donahue, did you still wish to serve on that, Member Donahue, or are you willing to make that available?
I would like to make that available. There is a meeting tomorrow morning at 8, and I'm prepared to serve that, and I am the voting member. But after that, it'd be great if someone else was interested in this.
Let me ask Member Welch, whose hand is raised, if she might be interested.
I would be happy to take that on, and unless you feel a true need to attend tomorrow morning, I would be happy to step in tomorrow morning on your behalf, or now moving forward, my behalf.
I think the problem might be that you have to get appointed by the county, not just by our city. So you wouldn't be a voting member tomorrow. And so you would just be an attending member. And I think that, I think we wouldn't have city representation, but the agenda is not very full. And
may I make a suggestion, Member Donahue?
Yes.
So on this term sheet here, this 4-year term, it actually expires at the end of this year. So why don't we leave you through the end of this calendar year as our member, and perhaps you could bring member. It's a virtual meeting, is it not?
Yes.
Could you bring Member Welch and introduce her as the person who would be coming on January 1st? Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I think that they would appreciate that, some more even transition. They wouldn't be, they would just be taken by surprise if you just showed up.
That's okay, we understand. So I think it would be great, and we really appreciate you stepping in and filling that responsibility for us during this past 6 months. So why don't we, this term will begin January 1st, a 4-year term for Member Welch on the Housing Authority, and Member Donahue will finish the remainder of Member Patz's term, which was ending this month anyways. And tomorrow he'll be our voting member, but he'll bring and introduce Member Welch to the rest of the Housing Authority, so they know on January 1 that she will be our new representative, and Member Donahue will have a chance to say goodbye to all the people he's been working with.
I will forward later this evening, Courtney, the Zoom link for the meeting.
Thank you so much for doing that. So the other item that's up here is the Mosquito Abatement District. And for a while, Member Donahue did this, and he learned a lot. He became very, very much an expert on mosquitoes and larvae and all the fun things that you don't think you need to know, but when you live near water, you actually do need to know a little bit about. We have had residents call us about mosquito abatement, vector control. Those issues do come up, and this is a very responsive agency. We've tried, as we do with the ETMA and some of these others, we try to give residents the opportunity to be appointed to these, but we haven't had anyone apply for this one for quite a number of months, and the clerk, as she mentioned, has tried several times. So I just want to revisit whether a member would be interested in serving on this. It does have a stipend attached to it, so members who serve will actually receive some compensation for being on this board, and it is with other cities in Alameda County, so we'd be networking with residents and council members from other cities. Is there any member who might be interested in serving on this one?
I will do it if no other member will do it.
Okay, Member Welch, your hand is raised. Are you interested?
I am interested.
I think this would be great. In fact, I was doing some homework on these, and I noticed that it happens to be the same day in the same place as the Housing Authority. So it would actually, it's the second Wednesday of the month, and they're both in Hayward. And I thought, why didn't we ever notice that before? So if you are interested, we'd love to appoint you, and perhaps, there's no alternate. I was going to say Member Donahue could be the alternate, but it says none. So is everybody okay with Member Welch taking that? And thank you for doing that. And I think you're going to have fun. And by the way, you should introduce yourself to resident Betsy Cooley if you haven't met her, because she served in this capacity for a number of years, and will have a lot of really good things to share with you about the work that this district does as well. So thank you for that.
Dealing with this is my specialty, so.
Awesome. So, okay, what I'd like to do is just go back. And so what we're looking at is Healthy Homes will remain the same. The Mayor's Conference will become Bowders and Medina. AC Source Reduction and Recycling is Martinez, stays the same. AC Transit Liaison Committee stays the same. Alameda County Transportation stays the same. AC Waste Management Authority stays the same. ABAG, the alternate, is changing from Bowders to Welch. The TAC is being removed as it's no longer an agency that we have a seat on. The East Bay Community Energy JPA Board, that will remain the same. The Gilman Sports Field, that will remain the same. The ECCL Governance Committee remains the same. The Oakland Emeryville JPA, we will add Member Welch as a member to that. The League of California Cities, the alternate will change from Martinez to Welch. The League of California Cities East Bay Division, it will be Bowders as the member. And who did we say was the alternate for this one? Was it Donahue staying the same? Yes, for this one?
Donahue,
thank you. Okay, Donahue will remain the alternate. And then everything else remains the same except for Mosquito Abatement District. Member Welch will be the member and representative for that. And for the Housing Authority of the County of Alameda, starting January 1 of 2022, that will become Member Welch. Having summarized that, are there any questions, comments, or did I make errors that members wish to point out or last minute changes? If not, having heard me recite that, is there anyone who would like to make a motion to approve that roster?
I move to approve.
I will second.
Okay, Member Donahue has made a motion to approve the amended roster, and Vice Mayor Medina has seconded that motion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina? I didn't hear.
You were on mute.
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye. Thank you. The motion passes. The amended resolution for the roster is approved. That will take us to item 12.3, which is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville appointing the council members to the council committees for calendar year 2022 and amending the local roster of boards, commissions, and committees accordingly. And allow me one moment to pull that up. Okay, members. And so on this, I'm going to scroll through the current committees attachment A and check with everybody about these appointments. So there are 5 standing council committees, and we will go through those first. There are 2 members on each. The members of the committees will select among themselves the chair and the vice chair for those boards. So several of us took on extra ones after member Pat's left, but let's just start here at the top with the Budget and Governance Committee. It's been myself and member Martinez. And
Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry, I'm doing the same thing, aren't I? I know. So my problem is that we don't have a staff report, and so I'm used to presenting it, but here I am discussing it. So I apologize, and I'll apologize to you, Mr. Donnie, because we all know what you're going to say. And so to help you say it better, I'm going to allow 1 minute of public comment for this item. And you're recognized for 1 minute.
And we have no speaker cards, by the way.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please. You have 1 minute.
Okay, so since I can't come to every meeting and I can't stay full length of every meeting, I would like the city clerk to fill in my position as police of the Brown Act and making sure that the public comments happen when they're supposed to happen. And if the city clerk could to fulfill that, that would be greatly appreciated. You just did that to the city clerk. I say thank you. I guess it's just slipping Mayor Bowders' mind. That being the case, that's fine. It's just slipping his mind. But I don't want to if it makes me feel bad that I have to attend every meeting to keep an eye on this. So I appeal to the city clerk to take on my role in the future. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. And I will apologize again. I truthfully did not anticipate running a meeting necessarily this evening, and I'm not used to not having a staff presentation. We're going through some routine items of business, but the public is correct that the public has a right to comment on every item, and I respect that, and I will do better. So I apologize and thank the city attorney for bringing that to my attention. So we will now see no other hands and public comment, and we will continue with the city's business. And the Budget and Governance Committee has been myself and member Martinez. And I would like to remain on the Budget and Governance Committee this coming year. Member Martinez, would you like to as well?
I would as well, yes.
Okay, are there any members who have a problem with that or questions or concerns with that? Okay, seeing none, the Budget and Governance Committee roster will remain the same into calendar year 2022. The Community Services Committee is currently member Martinez, and I just want to note that Vice Mayor Medina stepped up and stepped in to that second position when member Pat's left, and I would like to recognize Vice Mayor Medina.
Happy to step out as well if there's an interest from new council member in taking over that role.
Okay, member Welch, your hand is raised, you're recognized.
I'd be happy to take that over.
Okay, great. And Member Martinez, you're still good with being on this committee as well?
I am. I only serve on 2 committees, so if I can keep this one,
Great.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And
Great.
I'll hope to offer some continuity for community services.
Thank you. You're doing a fantastic job. So this one will reflect Martinez and Welch. The next committee is Public Safety, and the chair of this committee is Member Donahue, and the second member is myself. And similar to Vice Mayor Medina, I stepped in to fill a role that Member Pats had. But I would be happy to, with all the things we're doing in budget this year, to make this available to another member who's interested. And without picking on my new colleague, her hand is raised. Member Welch, are you interested in this?
Yes, I am, please.
Okay, great. So this committee will be made up of members Donahue and Welch in the coming year. The next committee is the Sustainability Committee, and this has been for a while now been members Donahue and Vice Mayor Medina, and I just want to confirm with both of them that they'd like to continue on this committee. I see a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay, so we will ask the two of them. Is your hand raised, Member Welch? Did you want to comment? Oh no. Okay. So we will continue with the two of them, and then the Transportation Committee has been myself and Vice Mayor Medina for the last couple of years, and I would like to continue, and I know she would like to continue on that. Is there anybody who has a question about that? No? Okay. So that concludes the city committee roster. Just checking. Okay, yep. So this is its own item. So 12.3. So budget and governance would be Bowders and Martinez. I just closed the document by accident. Apologies, members.
Mayor, would you like me to read those off?
I have it, no problem, I got it right here. Bowders and Martinez. Community services would be Martinez and Welch. Public safety would be Donahue and Welch. Sustainability would be Donahue and Medina, and transportation would be Medina and Bowders. Is there anyone who would like to we've already called public comment on this item. Is there anybody who would like to make a motion to this this roster?
I move approval.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
And a second. There's a motion by Member Donahue and a second by Member Martinez to approve these rosters as outlined by me just now. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders?
Aye. Thank you. That roster is approved. Okay, so that takes us to item 12.4. And item 12.4 is the local advisory committees with the liaisons. And members, we have 7 committees here that are in the staff report outlined for us, which we will discuss after I take public comment. So at this time, if a member of the public wishes to comment on item 12.4, which is the council member liaison positions to the residential advisory committees, you will be afforded the opportunity to speak now. Sherry, did we receive any electronic comment?
No electronic comments, and the hand that was raised has been lowered, so I'm not sure.
Mr. Bukowski, did you wish to comment? Hand up if you do. Okay, seeing no hand, that will end public comment and we will turn to the discussion. And so we have Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee is currently Member Medina. Budget Advisory Committee is currently myself. The Commission on Aging is currently Member Martinez. Economic Development Advisory is Scott. Housing Committee is also Member Martinez. And then Member Donahue has also been covering Parks and Rec Committee and Public Art Committee. And I'd like to start actually first by just asking Member Donahue, who has been doing the yeoman's share of these committees. Member Donahue, is there, of the 3 that you're on, is there a particular 1 or 2 that you would like to, that are priorities for you that you'd like to continue serving on?
I would like to continue on the Economic Development Advisory Committee and the Parks and Rec Committee.
Okay. And so you'd be willing to make public art more available to someone else if that was of interest to them?
Yes.
Okay. And Member Martinez, you have 2 as well. Are you looking to continue both of those, or would you like to make either of those available for others?
I'm both. I'm happy to continue, but if anyone's interested in the Commission on Aging, the Housing Committee, happy to make them available as well. But I'm happy to serve at the council's pleasure.
Okay, Member Medina, I assume you're very happy being on BPAC. Yeah, she's very, more or less, we understand how that goes. And I've been doing budget advisory as part of the work with budget. So Member Welch, let me ask you, don't feel afraid to talk to us just candidly. What would you be interested in serving on here?
I'd be happy to take over Housing Committee Liaison from Councilmember Martinez. And I think that one speaks to me the most. I'm actually surprised Councilmember Donahue not wanting to do public art, but I'd be happy to take that over as well.
Well, let's put it, I don't want to speak for Member Donahue, but let's put it this. The man is a sculptor. He's been doing art his whole career. And so, sometimes when you're so close to the work, right, you're looking for a little space from it. I don't know if I spoke well for Member Donahue or not.
Well, you're right. And also, Member Pats, I think, actually got something out of serving on the Public Art Committee unexpectedly. So I think it's a good thing to try out this for someone else. I mean, I've been doing public art most of my adult life, so I'm totally familiar with it. And I think that would be good to have someone else experience it. Agreed.
Yeah, and it's become very familiar with a lot of the cultural aspects of the community because it's very art centric. So he's very right that there's an opportunity for those of us who are not artists to learn a lot about our community from that committee. Member Martinez, how do you feel about Housing Committee and making and where you sit with that? And Member Welch, how can we work on that together?
I think that I would be more than pleased to have Member Welch, knowing her expertise in the housing arena. I think she would serve us very well as liaison to the Housing Committee. I will warn you, Member Welch, that you will get a double dose of all the presentations on the housing element because you'll see them first at Housing Committee and then you'll see them again at City Council. So you will be so well acquainted with our new plans for housing and zoning in the city.
Can I just say I get the triple dip? I see projects at BPAC, then at transportation, sometimes in the same week, and then the next week at council.
Yes.
She's like super prepared by the time it comes to transportation. Then we have to go to council. I'm just like, no, Ellie, we don't have to talk about it anymore. You got it. So, okay. So what I'm hearing is the consensus around Medina for BPAC, Bouders on budget advisory, Martinez on the Commission on Aging, Donahue for Economic Development Advisory, Welch for Housing, Donahue for Parks and Recreation, and Welch for Public Art. Did I capture that correctly? Great. So is there someone who would like to make a motion to that extent?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to recognize a motion by Member Welch and a second by Member Donahue to approve the local liaison roster. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bouders?
Aye, the resolution is approved. Thank you, members, for helping us move quickly through this agenda. Item 12.5 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville appointing standby officers for the City Council member succession in the event of a declared emergency. So members, the clerk, I want to recognize and thank the City Clerk's office for reaching out to us to check in on our standby officer roster. And I'm just going to pull it up real quick here. And it currently, well, that's the old one. So we currently have folks there. And here we go, Exhibit A. Sorry. What I'd like to ask, Sherry, since you have this here for approval and it's blank as to Member Welch at this point, are you looking for us to approve that and ask her to name people tonight, or would you like us to approve it as to the four of us and then we'll bring back a consent item for her later?
The second option is what I thought we would do, and I would reach out to you, Councilmember Welch, on the process for you to name 3 standby officers to serve for you in the event of an emergency, and then we'd bring that back on the January 18th agenda.
Okay, so just for the benefit of the public, as this is being presented. This is essentially what we're looking at here is a list of folks who, if there was a declared emergency and then the unfortunate or untimely death of a member of council or their incapacity to serve in other circumstances, there are standby officers who are named by council members in the event a disaster takes place, or we should call it a declared emergency actually. They would be in line to serve on an emergency basis only. So that being the background to that, we will now entertain public comment before we discuss this list. Sherry, did we receive any electronic comment cards?
No electronic comment cards, no, but 2 raised hands.
Okay, great. So turning to the public comment, I'll first recognize Betsy Cooley, please.
Go ahead, and you have 1 minute. Thank you. And you'll need to unmute. There you go.
This is a little bit out of order, but I just wanted to welcome Member Welch, and I wanted to really say thank you for being willing to volunteer for the Alameda County Mosquito District. They've been very anxious to have a representative from Emeryville, and I was very happy doing it, and I hope you'll enjoy it also. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Betsy. And next, please, Brian Donahue.
Go ahead, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, before you vote on 12.5, consider that you just did a bad job on 12.2 when you voted to reinstate Councilmember Donahue to the Park and Rec Committee, because Councilmember Donahue did a terrible job, really bad. The committee there has no clue about the basic provision of the park acreage per resident ratio as laid out in the general plan. They have no clue. And they, back 3 years ago, they also had no clue. And so I gave the city a chance to make amends and inform the committee about the basic provisions of the park, of how to get parks, how many parks we're supposed to be getting vis-a-vis our general plan. And the city blew it. And so that's Councilmember Donahue's the one that is the liaison. So to the extent that the committee members know nothing at all about parks on the park committee, that's Councilmember Donahue's problem. That's so, I think you should do a better job with appointing people to commissions and committees, and let's not have the Peter principle at play here, please. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other public comment? Seeing none, members, is there any discussion about the names on the appointee list for this item? And as was discussed, Member Welch, the city clerk will reach out to you to explain that process, and we can help you with that in the future. Member Martinez, you're recognized.
You know what? I do want to discuss these names. I just want to thank people who are willing to step up and take responsibility for the city council actions should there be a declared state of emergency. I especially want to thank my appointees, Bobby Lee, Zoe Chafe, and Laura McCamey, who I think would all do an outstanding job.
Well said. And I think I can speak for all of us, as Betsy Cooley, one of our speakers, is #1 on my appointee list and has been around. I know Betsy is terrified that something would happen to me and she would be required to do this job, but I know she would do a fantastic job if she had the chance. So I just want to say, for all the people who have accepted these stand-in appointee list names, good night, Ashby. We wish you a good night's rest. We just want to thank all those members of the public. See you later. Thank all these members of the public for stepping in, and we'll have 3 more names to add there under Member Welch's designees at a near point in the future. So with the list that's currently before us for going into the next calendar year, is there a motion?
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Member Donahue and a second by Member Martinez to approve this roster. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Welch?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders?
Aye, the roster has been approved. Item 13, there are no department head reports tonight unless the city manager corrects me. No, okay. Item 14 is the future agenda item request from council members. Are there members who wish to seek majority approval to agenda a future item for discussion at this time? Okay, seeing none. The time is 8:30 p.m. and members of the council, we are adjourned. I wish you all a wonderful evening, and we'll see you back here on December 21st for our last council meeting of the year. Have a good night.
Thank you.